Rana. I'm the Director of Policy at the Colorado Coalition Against Sexual Assault, and we are here today talking about what happened at the 2018 legislative session. We're going to quickly run through the big wins for bills that addressed civil proceedings, and the first being House Bill 1243, Civil Rape Shield Law, and that bill was brought forward by a survivor and her attorney to ensure that what happened in her case would never happen to another survivor. And essentially what that bill does is establishes civil protections that mirror criminal protections so that a survivor's sexual history cannot be used to smear or slander their reputation as a defense tactic. The second bill that I want to talk about, which addresses the civil proceeding, is Violence Free Colorado's primary bill, Violence Free Colorado, formerly CCADB, which was a big win for survivors. And what that bill did was create parity in law between the sexual violence civil statute of limitations and a domestic violence statute of limitations. So it increased the civil statute of limitations from 12 months to 6 years. And also, what's really notable about this bill is that it's the first in the nation to recognize the connection between traumatic brain injury to domestic violence in law. This is an exceptional piece of legislation that passed this year, and if you have additional questions, I encourage you to contact Lydia Walagorski, who is the Policy Director of Violence Free Colorado. Two other bills that were essential to increasing protections in civil proceedings were Senate Bill 18169, Offenses Against Civil and Administrative Witnesses, and what that did was amend the crime of intimidating a witness or a victim to include preventing retaliation in civil proceedings. The last bill that I want to talk to you about regarding civil proceedings is House Bill 1256, which was the sunset review for the Colorado Civil Rights Division. What the CCRD does is essentially establishes anti-discrimination policy in the areas of employment, housing, and public accommodations. And so this is key to protecting survivor rights in workplace discrimination complaints and also in complaints of sexual harassment. In addition to bills that increased protections and rights for survivors in civil proceedings, there were several bills that addressed funding for prevention education. The first is House Bill 1409, titled Crime Survivors Grant Program and Presumptive Parole. And essentially, what this bill did was create a 5-year grant program designating $1.7 million from the Parole Savings Fund to expand community-based crime survivor services. And what is unique about this particular bill is that the legislative declaration clarifies funding eligibility to include prevention of repeat victimization. And so this is going to be administered by the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, and we expect an RFA to begin sometime this late summer or fall. The second funding bill was House Bill 1064, Training Program Prevention for Child Sexual Abuse. This bill directs the Colorado Children's Trust Fund Board to expend money of the trust fund for, quote, the development, promotion, maintenance, and monitoring of evidence-based or research-based training curricula for child sexual abuse prevention. Anyone who interacts with children on a regular basis would be who this training is tailored for. And so if you are a program that facilitates that type of training, it's important that you know that this is a new funding stream available and that you can apply for that funding as soon as the Colorado Children's Trust Fund Board creates their RFA process. Other bills of interest that passed this legislative session are House Bill 1287, which reauthorized CCJJ, or the Commission on Criminal and Juvenile Justice. And what's important to know about this bill is that it created 4 new positions on the board. One of those positions is for the victim of a crime, and another of those 4 positions is for a victim's advocate as specified in our confidentiality statute. So if you have any interest in being involved in the work of the CCJJ, I would really encourage you to reach out to the Governor's Office on Boards and Commissions at this address. The next 2 bills that I want to discuss are 2 bills that did not pass this legislative session, but bills that we believe we will see in the 2019 legislative session. So CCASA took a neutral position because we were not able to reach clear consensus on whether to support or oppose this bill. And for that reason, we are going to try to structure some focus groups over the summer to be able to get feedback from you to develop positions on these bills because we believe they're coming back in 2019. Your input is crucial to the positions that we take on bills at the Capitol, and I would really love to see as many people as possible participate in these focus groups. Your expertise is incredibly valued to our process of taking positions on bills, and we hope that you will help us to take a position on these too. The first has to deal with clarifying the word rape from sexual assault in sentencing, and the second is a bill that we've seen for the last at least 3 legislative sessions. We know it's coming back in 2019, and that is establishing the possibility of a determinate sentence for an indeterminate sex offense. Other bills that unfortunately did not pass this legislative session included CCASA's primary bill, House Bill 1391, Sexual Misconduct in Higher Education. What this bill sought to do was to create a fair and consistent process in how institutions of higher education respond to sexual violence. This is particularly important for students who have experienced sexual violence while attending college so that they are able to access a safe and meaningful education. And while this bill did not pass, we remain hopeful that the outpouring of support that we received from students, from parents, from advocates, from the institutions of higher education themselves will remain consistent to be able to provide a path forward so that the General Assembly can ensure that our institutions of higher education across our state are safe for students to attend college and to receive a safe and meaningful access to education. Last, I just want to touch on House Bill 1427, Sex Offender Management Board Interest Conflict. So this bill, I think, is really a shining example of grassroots advocacy. This bill was introduced late in session. It had vague language that would have possibly removed the position of a victim advocate off SOMB. It would have removed the people who had the best expertise, service providers. It would have removed their positions off of SOMB. It passed both chambers, and we as a coalition were able to lobby the governor's office to veto this bill. What I think this shows is the strength of our coalition, is the number of people who are willing to make phone calls and to send emails and to talk about their concerns and ensure that survivor voices are centered in the policy work that we do at the Capitol every single year. I am inspired by your continued advocacy, and I hope that you will join me as we use the rest of this year to set CCASA's policy agenda so that we are successful again in centering the voices of survivors at the Capitol in the 2019 legislative session. If you at all are interested in joining CCASA's work, please contact me at Rana, R-A-A-N-A, at ccasa.org to join the policy committee that meets every third Tuesday of the month. I look forward to talking to you, and